So, what actually separates flat, skippable content from a massive viral sensation? If you've ever watched a child just get instantly captivated by a colorful, animated video on a tablet, well, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We're looking at a crazy phenomenon right now where simple 2D animations aren't just pulling in millions of views, they are literally hitting billions. But how on earth do creators take these basic elements and turn them into cinematic gold that keeps young audiences completely transfixed? Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving headfirst into the ultimate creator's masterclass. We're going to look at exactly how modern creators build dynamic visual stories from the ground up. We'll explore why these videos work so well, the super accessible AI tools used to build them, and most importantly, our main focus today: how exactly 12 fundamental camera shots work together to completely transform a basic animation into an absolute cinematic masterpiece. Here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with building engaging educational content, move into animation and AI generation, then hit our core focus: essential framing camera shots, camera angles and perspectives, and dynamic camera movement shots. Finally, we'll wrap up with YouTube Kids content rules. All right, section 1, building engaging educational content. Why early childhood music matters. For kids aged 0 to 5, their brains are in this absolutely critical period of development. And during this window, music is not just entertainment. It literally connects speech, movement, emotional regulation, and auditory processing all together in the brain. It's basically a natural cheat code for gaining their attention while giving them a healthy creative outlet. Just to put that power into perspective, look at this number: 16 billion. The famous Baby Shark dance crossed 16 billion views on YouTube. That is pretty much double the population of the entire planet. It just proves that kids' nursery rhymes and music are, without a doubt, one of the most powerful and evergreen content categories in existence. So, how do everyday creators actually make these? Let's get into Section 2, Animation and AI Generation, the Modern Creator's Toolkit. Here's the good news. You really don't need a massive Hollywood studio to create engaging children's content anymore. Today, creators are leveraging some incredibly powerful, easy-to-use tools to build these wildly popular videos without needing a degree in advanced animation.
Here's a look at how AI is generating complete nursery rhyme videos from scratch right now. First, creators use ChatGPT to instantly brainstorm ideas, write the rhymes, and even generate detailed visual prompts for each scene. Second, they drop those lyrics into Suno AI, which automatically figures out the vibe and generates a professional-sounding kids song. Third, those visual prompts go straight into Google AI Studio to generate short animated clips. And finally, the whole shebang is brought into a simple editor like CapCut to match the video clips perfectly to the rhythm of the new song.
Now, for creators who want more hands-on control over a specific character, tools like Adobe Character Animator are a real game changer. You can do real-time motion capture using just a standard webcam. A 2D puppet, let's say a movie-reviewing popcorn character, literally tracks your head movements and lip syncs to your voice automatically. And with keyboard triggers, like just tapping Z to make the character look happy, you instantly control eyebrows, eyelids, or gestures. You then export this with a transparent background to overlay on any scene. But here's the catch. Whether you use AI generation or motion capture puppets, a flat static character just isn't enough to hold a kid's attention. And that brings us to Section 3, Essential Framing Camera Shots, the secret sauce of cinematography. Applying the fundamental shots we're about to cover is exactly what takes basic 2D AI generations and turns them into dynamic, cinematic gold. This is where we really see how 12 camera shots work to elevate your storytelling. Shot number 1 of our 12 is the long shot, also known as a wide shot. It contains the character's entire body and the environment around them. This is how you establish a scene. For example, if you generated this beautiful 2D tree swaying in the wind, you'd use a long shot to show your character running toward it. It gives the young audience full context of where the action is actually happening. Next up, shot number 2 is the medium shot, framed from the knees or waist up. By cutting from a wide long shot to a medium shot, you immediately bring the audience so much closer to the character's direct actions. It's an incredibly common shot, perfect for when your animated character is holding an object, talking directly to the viewer, or interacting with another character. It beautifully balances the subject with just enough background to keep things interesting. Moving in tighter, shot number 3 is the close-up, where the subject's face occupies most of the frame. Now, think back to that Adobe Character Animator workflow we talked about. This shot brilliantly showcases those specific keyboard-triggered emotions. When you press that key to make your 2D puppet look happy, sad, or angry, a close-up guarantees the audience connects instantly with that emotion.
The fourth framing technique is the extreme close-up. This is where the frame isolates just the eyes or just the mouth. So when a character is belting out a nursery rhyme generated by Suno AI, isolating the mouth with an extreme close-up is absolutely perfect for highlighting precise lip syncing or even picking up a subtle detail like a twitching eye to show a character is super tired. All right, moving to section 4, camera angles and perspectives, shaping viewer psychology. We're stepping beyond just basic framing now. This is where cinematography subconsciously shapes exactly how a young audience perceives a character on screen. Check out the difference a simple shift makes here for shots 5 and 6. A high angle is raised above and tilted down, instantly making a character look smaller, weaker, or vulnerable. On the flip side, a low angle places the camera closer to the ground pointing up, making the subject look stronger, taller, or even a bit threatening. By simply shifting that digital camera angle, you can instantly make a cartoon villain look scary or a hero look vulnerable. It's practically magic! Shot number 7 in our perspective toolkit is the over-the-shoulder shot. The camera sits behind the subject while they face someone else. This is highly effective for showcasing an interaction or a confrontation. It lets you capture one character's movement right there in the foreground, while perfectly framing the other character's reaction in the background. Coming in at number 8 is the point of view, or POV shot. This is a highly stylistic shot taken from the exact perspective of the character. Placing the digital camera directly in the character's shoes adds massive dramatic effect. It makes the young viewer feel like they're physically stepping right into the animated world, completely immersing them in the experience. Rounding out our perspective section with shot number 9, we have the aerial shot. This is a variation of the high angle, but pulling the camera way up into the sky. It creates a really stark contrast between a tiny character and a massive new environment. It's perfect for emphasizing the sheer scale of the world they're exploring. Let's kick things into high gear with section 5, dynamic camera movement shots, adding kinetic energy. Keeping a child's attention requires constant visual energy. You just can't rely on static frames alone. You need kinetic movement to keep the scene feeling alive. Shot number 10 is the pan. The camera is locked on a fixed point, but swivels to follow the subject horizontally. If you've exported your animated puppet with a transparent background and dropped them onto a 2D green screen background, a horizontal pan is the absolute perfect way to smoothly follow that character as they walk from one side of the scene to the other. Shot 11 is the tilt. Just think of this as the vertical equivalent of the pan. The camera stays locked on its fixed point, but swivels up or down. It's definitely the best shot for looking up and down the length of a tall object, like slowly revealing a giant beanstalk in a classic fairy tale animation. And finally, wrapping up our masterclass on how these 12 camera shots work, we have shot number 12, the tracking shot. Unlike a pan or tilt where the camera is anchored in place, a tracking shot means the camera itself physically moves to follow the subject. Moving the digital camera alongside your animated puppet keeps the entire scene incredibly dynamic and fluid, capturing attention in a way a static shot simply never could. Okay, section 6, YouTube Kids content rules, staying compliant on the platform. Because at the end of the day, even the most beautifully shot video must adhere to some pretty strict policies if you want it to reach its audience safely. Notice the strict age settings here. Content is specifically filtered into 3 tiers. You've got preschool for 4 and under, which relies heavily on simple language and learning, then younger for 5 to 8, which introduces innocent gaming and cartoons, and older for 9 to 12, allowing for more complex language and vlogs. But I want to strongly emphasize the bottom of this slide. YouTube Kids absolutely bans paid product placements, deceptive clickbait like misleading titles or mashing up totally unrelated kids' themes just to get clicks, and overly commercial content. You literally cannot use manipulative tactics to attract young viewers. The content has to be genuinely enriching. Which brings us to our final thought. This powerful quote really puts everything we've talked about into perspective. The content you create isn't just a fun little video. It's a tool for early development. Preserving those neural pathways gives children stronger neural potential as they age. So my question to you is this. Now that you understand the amazing tools at your disposal, how will you use your new cinematic skills and those 12 camera shots to effectively build those neural pathways and enrich young minds? Thank you so much for exploring this with me today. Keep creating and keep learning.